Dungeons & Dragons, known as D&D by its fans, is the world's greatest role-playing game filled with imagination, adventure, and storytelling. The lead storyteller is a player called the Dungeon Master, or DM, who creates an adventure for characters created and controlled by the other players. Hello, this is Dungeon Freak. Welcome to my channel and my introductory video. Please subscribe and like below, and back to Dungeons & Dragons. In this game, you will fight fantastic beasts, talk to other characters, solve puzzles, and discover magical items and other fantastic treasure. The story that the GM creates is called a campaign. Dungeons & Dragons is like a game of make-believe, except with strict rules and cool dice, like these. However, the game is meant to be fun and flexible, and if the rules don't accomplish these, then feel free to adjust. It will improve your gaming experience. You'll like this game if you're imaginative, have a flair for fantasy, or just like rolling dice. The structure of the game is this. The Dungeon Master describes the environment, then the players describe what their characters do, and then the Dungeon Master narrates the result of their actions. For example, the Dungeon Master could say that the players arrive at a castle with a precarious bridge and 2 gargoyle statues. One character might try to check the bridge to see if it's safe to cross, while another might try to sneak inside. The one checking the bridge could roll the die to see whether or not their attempt is successful. On a high roll, they would discover that the bridge is safe, but on a low roll, they would get the wrong result, or would be unable to determine whether or not it is safe to cross. The one going inside the castle could be caught by the guards or sneak past them successfully. Or the DM could make a new challenge arise. For example, for the one checking the bridge, they could fall into the chasm before they are able to discover whether or not it is safe to cross, or they could be attacked by the 2 gargoyle statues that suddenly animate out of nowhere. In Dungeons & Dragons, there are infinite possibilities. There are 3 parts of the game. Exploration, which is where the Dungeon Master describes the environment, and then the players describe what they want to do, and then the Dungeon Master tells them what happens, like what I talked about before. Social interaction, or role-playing, is where the players act as their characters and talk to other people, whether it be intimidating an enemy or persuading someone to help them. The 3rd part of the game is combat, whether it be swinging swords, casting destructive spells, or even scaring away the enemy. In Dungeons & Dragons, there are infinite possibilities. You just have to come up. In Dungeons & Dragons, one of the basic elements of the game are the dice. In this game, we refer to the type of dice by putting the letter D in front of a number, which indicates how many sides that die has. So for example, this D6 has 6 sides. So we call it a D6 because it has 6 sides, and the D stands for die. Also, if there's a number in front of the D, it means that you roll that die the indicated amount of times. Also, if there's a modifier, then you add that number to the total. So, for example, if it says 3d8 plus 5, it means that we roll this 8-sided die 3 times and then add 5 to the total. There are 6 types of die in this game. The D4, which is the weird triangle one, you indicate the number on top by like this. It's a 2, see? D6, which is the most common type of die. The D8, the D10, the 0 represents a 10, not a 0. The D12, and the famous D20, which is the most commonly used die in this game. There are 3 types of D20 rolls: attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. Ability checks are rolls you make to accomplish something, such as trying to break down a door, sneak past an enemy, or convince someone to do what you want them to do. those abilities are based on the capabilities of a character, which can help their role be more successful. The 6 ability scores are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Strength represents physical power, Dexterity represents agility, Constitution represents health, Intelligence is smartness and memory, Wisdom is the ability to notice things, and Charisma is the ability to persuade or intimidate. Attack rolls are rolls made to attack an enemy, and high rolls represent a success. And you add an attack roll to your roll, kind of like with ability checks, to make you more successful. Saving throws work the same way as the other two, except that a saving throw is to resist something, such as the breath of a dragon, fire breath of a dragon, like dodging out of the way, resisting a sickness, or stopping a magical creature from taking control of you. In this part of the video, I will be going over the skills of the game, which I think are being imaginative, role-playing, and knowing your character's capabilities and knowing how to use them. It's good to be imaginative in the game. It's what D&D is all about. Try to think outside of the box and use the environment to your advantage. It will help you in the game. Role-playing is a major part of the game. It's trying to act as your character and doing what your character would do, not what you would do as a player. So try to remember that, and remembering your character's capabilities is really important. One of the reasons I'm so good at this game is because I know the rules very well, and I know how to use my characters really well too. So just know your character's capabilities, and it will broaden your options and will help you in the game. What you need to get started. I would recommend getting the D&D starter set. It has a good storyline to start out with, and pre-made characters, and a basic rulebook, so you can get used to the basics of the game before getting up to the more advanced part of it. But then after that, you'll need the other necessary parts of the game, such as the player's handbook, which shows you how to make a character and has other rules of the game. Then I would get the monster manual, which is just a ton of different monsters, dragons, other things, genies, and some other creatures in Dungeons and Dragons. And then the third core rule book is the Dungeon Master's Guide, which you don't really need, but it has a ton of tips and magic items and optional rules. So these are some magic items. And yeah. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like below, and thanks for watching.